This conference will now be recorded.
If we could all please stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. Micah. I pledge allegiance to
the flag
of
the United States of America
and to
the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Could I have the roll call?
Yeah. Councilmember Boff?
Here.
Councilmember Stimmel?
Here.
Councilmember Williams?
Present.
Councilmember Strobehn?
Here.
Councilmember Cerveny?
Present.
Mayor Thornton?
Here. Thank you. Next is the consent agenda. If there are no requests for any items to be removed, may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next is citizens' public comment. Clerk, do we have any comments this evening?
No public comment tonight.
Okay.
Or citizens' comment, sorry.
Okay, next is the mayor's report. Things this evening. First of all, I just want to remind everybody that on Thursday, July 2nd or July 3rd, the governor and state health secretary put a 2-week pause on the county's application to move it to phase 3. This means that Clark County remains in phase 2 until at least July 16th. And under the phase rules, public gatherings are limited to no more than 5 people from outside your household per week, and outdoor recreations cannot involve more than 5 people from outside your household. And I just want to also remind everyone that per the state public health order, cloth face masks or face coverings are required for everyone 5 and older in all indoor public spaces and outdoor spaces where 6 feet of distancing is not possible. So I think we're all getting used to all these different requirements and keeping up with the mandates from state public health, county public health, and of course the governor's office. So just a reminder that we do the best we can to adhere to those rules. And also I just want to mention that yesterday, July 7th, the last Frontier card room did open. So right now both the La Center card rooms are operating, and I just want to wish them every continued success, as well as all of our local businesses. I know it's a challenging time for our local businesses, and next is the attorney's report.
I don't have a city attorney report this evening, Mayor.
Okay, very good. Thank you. So next are council comments. Councilmember Boff.
I have nothing tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Councilmember Stimmel.
No comments tonight. Thank you.
Councilmember Williams.
We're in a roll. No comments, Mayor. Thank you.
Golden.
I'm sorry, did you say my name, Mayor? I didn't hear.
Yes.
Oh, no comment tonight. Thank you.
Councilmember Cerveny. Any comments?
Thank you, Mayor. I would just like to encourage everyone to wear their masks. I know it's a controversial subject, but I see the impact that COVID-19 is having at the food bank level, And even though it may not have directly impacted one of our family members or relatives, with the uptick in the numbers and it spreading to the younger generation, I'd like to encourage everybody to be very thoughtful and encourage the message to get passed to everyone involved so we can get these numbers headed in the right direction and get people back into work. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, the next on the agenda is we do have 2 staff reports this evening. The staff report will be from Chief Denny.
Hello, Mayor, Council. Can you hear me okay?
Very good.
Yes, you're coming through fine. All right. This monthly police advisors for the month of June. It documents our activities to include overall statistics, complaints received, traffic emphasis, statistics, high-risk calls for service that required multi-agency responses. Department-wide patrol statistics, statistics, calls for service with 199 calls totaled, 39 in which were officer generated, which were proactive. Criminal arrests were 23 arrests total, 17 traffic-related arrests, 2 drug-related arrests, 1 warrant arrest with 1 weapon violation. Reports taken, we had 50 reports that were written, 42 original reports and 8 supplemental reports. Police contacts was 119 FI entries completed for any activity that did not result in a report or issuance of a citation infraction. Traffic stops, we had 106 traffic stops total, and just obviously our stats are going up even though we're still in COVID, and they've been released a little bit, but our calls for service and numbers are going up again. Complaints received, we had traffic complaints received for Northeast Lockwood Creek, the 2200 block for speed violations. East 4th Street, we had 100 block for speed violations, and traffic emphasis were conducted in those areas, and education and enforcement measures were taken. Additionally, the traffic speed trailer was deployed in the following locations for continued speed mitigation. On the 600 block of Aspen, we've deployed the trailer for 10 days. Then on 1600 block of Aspen Ave for 5 days. The 1800 block of Northeast Lockwood Creek for 3 days. Traffic emphasis were focused in the following locations based on citizen complaints. Northeast Lockwood Creek, the 2200 block. East 4th Street, 1000 block, speed emphasis. Aspen Avenue, 600 block for speed emphasis. Northwest La Center Road, 1800 block and 2600 block speed emphasis. Traffic mitigations for each of those areas consisted of patrol emphasis being conducted by the officers at differing times throughout their shift. Education was made a priority over enforcement when prudent. Due to COVID-19 protocols, each of the areas have had the frequency of speed violations reduced. However, this will be an ongoing process. Community-oriented policing, due to COVID-19 protocol restrictions on group events and gatherings, we only had 2. The LCPD had the opportunity to assist in the La Center School District in organizing and participating in the first 2020 La Center High School senior graduation parade. And La Center PD also had the opportunity to appear for the La Center Middle School, La Center Elementary School drive-through graduation, and reorganize to recognize the children as they progress to the next grade level. High-risk calls for service, we had one on May 28th, 2020, at approximately 22:55 hours. Sergeant Scott and Officer Langlos responded to an AED request for a 12-year-old girl who had possibly overdosed. It was reported that the young female was unconscious, blue and gray in color, and her breathing had stopped. Within minutes, Sergeant Scott arrived and quickly assessed the situation and began CPR until medical personnel could arrive and take over. The girl was resuscitated through the use of medicine for opioid overdose. She was then transported to the hospital where she was currently under the care of a doctor. And at this time, it appears as though this was not a suicide attempt. The responding agencies, Lieutenant PD had 1 sergeant and 1 officer who immediately medical response and investigation. Clark County Fire Rescue, 2 firefighters, basic life support, BLS, and advanced life support, ALS response. AMR responded with 2 paramedics, ALS response and transport. Total time for the investigation invested by LCPD was 3 hours, including written report and follow-up with the family. Just to let you know, the 12-year-old girl survived the overdose due to the actions of the responding emergency and service personnel. An initial LCP investigation was conducted into the incident with no charges being filed. CPS was advised and is currently conducting their own investigation into the health and welfare of the child. Pretty much the next pages of the report are just the breakdown of all the calls for service. So if there's any questions that I can answer in regards to anything, I will be happy to answer them if I can.
I got a question, Chief, about this brandishing. Did that happen inside the city limits?
Yes, it was. It was up on the near the freeway, but in the center city limits.
Thanks.
Chief, I would just express, I think collectively from all of our perspectives, encourage the officers and yourself to be cautious, and I know you already are, but be safe. I know tensions and emotions are running high the longer the pandemic goes on. So just take into consideration those situations and be as safe as you can.
Appreciate that, and absolutely, I'll pass the message on to the officers as well.
And let the officers know, Sergeant Scott and Officer Langlis, that that was a great job. I'm glad they were there to help save that little girl.
Yeah, it's just to let everyone know, since I've been the chief here, we've had 7 life-saving awards given out, or actually 6 at this point, 7 with this one, for our officers responding and providing either CPR or AED response, because we were the closest responding to the incident. So, and we were able to resuscitate and revive all 7 to this point. So that was it's a great thing that we can say as a community, that we can respond that quickly and provide that service before medical can respond.
Any other questions for the chief this evening? Okay, Chief. Yeah, that's an incredible story. It's really remarkable that our officers were able to respond and save that life. So it's incredible. We all owe them a great debt of gratitude for that. So I appreciate the report. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
The next, we have one additional staff report this evening, and the next one will be from Matt Jenkins, our Public Works Manager. Matt?
Good evening, Mayor, Council, citizens. That's a follow. Thank you, Chief Penny and group, for what you're doing. So I'd like to start with Public Works Operations, streets. Staff continues to just maintain the streets, and there's a lot of routine checks that are involved with this, as far as drainage systems and pathways, right-of-ways, repairing potholes, along with other hazards. Once again, I know it sounds like a broken record. The community center, play structures, and restrooms throughout town will remain closed, at least and through the next phase. So we'll take a look at that, but we are. It's one thing that we look at weekly. Citizens have been removing damaged caution tape. That seems to have stopped. We put up signage, but again, it's up at your own risk. We're not disinfecting. I just want to make sure citizens know that. We don't have the time or the manpower to disinfect, and my daughter's always going off behind me. I apologize for that right now. Also, janitorial services are continued to be provided for City Hall and Public Works by maintenance staff, but the PD has been taking care of their own issues for now, but we're getting to a point where we need to revisit that. So I thank Mark and his group for their patience. On the Parks and Grounds side, mowing's back to summer schedule. Staff's continuing to clear trails and get those ready for the walkers that want to participate in the early morning throughout the day. A big thing for a lot of people staying home is walking my neighborhood, everybody's neighborhood. So the guys are on top of that. Battleground and Clark County work crews, they will be becoming more available in phase 3. And so we're just waiting to kind of let things equalize and level out. So until that happens, we have 4 guys working on grounds around town and facilities. So they're getting there as quick as they can, and we appreciate the citizens' patience, and we also appreciate the eyes on that the citizens provide us. On the equipment side, everything's running well. Prevented and scheduled maintenance is ongoing, but right now there are no current critical failures or anything substantial note. Personnel side, staff's currently back on normal shifts. All appropriate safety precautions are being followed for COVID-19, and then we're just basically standing ready for the next phase. So on the project side, again, ops staff is rebuilding the Holly Park concession stand stairs. That's kind of fluid because the more they dig into it, the more the rain damage, water damage has been. Currently, the existing stairs have been demoed. Permit applications have been submitted, but we've actually received permits at this point, and we've also sourced materials. So I think going forward, this should finished up in the next few weeks. So the guys are moving at a fairly good pace. On the wastewater operations side, again, the NPDES permit are well within limits there. We have a renewal coming up. I'll get into that a little later. Staff is optimizing the plant for warm weather operations, but really that's kind of leveled off. So they're in summer operations now, and they are where they are. Biosolids processing is still at normal levels, minus shipments from A&A, which resumed on an every other week basis last week. So going forward, we are receiving about half the solids from A&A that we were previous to COVID-19 and the shutdown. On the maintenance side, routine preventative maintenance is ongoing. The 6-ton gantry. We're still waiting to try to align work with Washington Crane or the lowest bidder. We're taking a look at the purchasing policy and what we need to do there as far as limitations and small works roster. The utility truck crane has had its annual inspection along with the boom truck, or I should say bucket truck, for public works ops. And on the admin side, the July DMR is in progress. It's pretty much finished up. We're going to download that to the state website and then shoot that off here in the next day or two after we do a few checks for data entry and errors. Staff's currently working regular shifts down at the plant. They're maintaining social distancing practices. Office and lab sanitation frequencies remain increased due to COVID-19. As we can all imagine, masks are in effect along with regular sanitization. The annual inflow and infiltration report is in progress and due July 15th. It's actually wrapped up at this point. I sent this over last week, so we just need to get that over to DOE and submit it electronically. So the annual laboratory accreditation has been completed, and new accreditation has been issued by the state. So that's great. That's done. Currently, other than the few small maintenance projects I mentioned, no major projects on the horizon for the next month. And then the building department Permitting and construction are moving forward. Staff is conducting 10 to 15 inspections per day. Inspections are performed if the builder is meeting the criteria set by the state and upon arrival of the inspector. And all staff are back in the office full time and working diligently. There was an article in the Reflector. I'm sure a lot of people saw it, and we are growing quickly. So thank you for your time. Thank you for letting me present my report.
Matt, this is off the topics that you listed there, but I know last year about this time we were having reports about the water safety in the river for the community. Have we heard anything further from Clark County or the state on that as we head into summer?
We haven't. I don't know if COVID has slowed that down. I'm not sure what happened. We were speaking with Devin pretty regularly, but really is who we were waiting on was the county with their language and signage, because they had spent the money and invested the time in coming up with the language for these highly effective signs for swimming areas like ours. And we haven't heard anything back yet. So I am still waiting on that. Yeah, we with Department of Ecology, they're still working the impact and the sorry, that's a great question.
Caught you off guard.
No, that's okay. The septic systems. I couldn't think of the word there for a second. The septic systems are where they're focusing in, but yeah, I'll continue to check in with Clark County Public Health. I know they had a recent change in management, but yeah, moving forward, it would be nice to get that language and get it posted down. I think I actually worked it into the budget for a few $1,000s in signs, and those are more popular than ever because of the work that, you know, Dave Pettit and the op staff has done at those waterheads. So, absolutely.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions for Matt this evening? Okay, thanks, Matt. Appreciate it. So next on the agenda is we will be going into executive session. And Micah, as I understand it, we will close out of this session. We'll go back to the go-to meeting link, click on the other link, and we'll be joining up again with that. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Council is going to exit this meeting. I will pause the recording. We just need for you to announce the duration.
Okay. So at 6:53 p.m., we'll be going into executive session pursuant to RCW 42.30.110 to discuss with legal counsel representing the city on matters relating to city enforcement actions. Bronson, do you think 30 minutes will be sufficient to do this?
Yes, Mayor. It may be a little bit more than what we need, but it's better to budget a little bit extra time rather than bouncing in and out of executive and open session.
Okay. And then there will be no action taken after the executive session. But we will come back into session after the conclusion of the executive session. So at this time, if I could just ask the council members to please sign off, go to the go-to meeting link, and we'll hook back up on the for the executive session. Thank you.
And we're going where, Mayor, on that one? Because I don't have any link that was ever emailed to me.
Yeah, it should have been mailed to you on Monday, but I can resend it if you need it.
Yeah, if you could resend it to me, Micah. I'm in my email now and I don't see it.
Yeah, I will send it to you.
Okay,
Micah,
thank you.
should we leave this session?
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, very good. Okay, at 7:32, the executive session is concluded, and we're back in general session. Last on the agenda this evening is adjournment. If I could get a motion to adjourn.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn the meeting. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening. Get on and enjoy some of this.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Thanks.
Night.